true essence behind the symbol, and the fact that this is the #2 most iconic symbols that people wear or have embroidered or have with them, second only to the crucifix, the Christian cross. This is the #1. But it's so interesting that this symbol, this brand, that this is #2. And I think second would be the peace symbol. That's #3. It's so interesting because the fact that this symbol, based on just what we've been talking about for a short amount of time, it has so much more substance and such a bigger foundation of why it was actually conceived. And a lot of people, they love the symbol just because of the fact that it represents you're a strong man. Like, if you're ready to work out, like you know what you want to fly, or you got something you want to do, or like the John Williams theme. It rings in people's head like, oh, okay, I'm ready, And it's more than just that. Like, there was a pureness behind the creation and the inception of the idea. Back in 1933, this is the first superhero. Okay, so this is the first superhero comic. Was Action Comics #1. After that was Detective Comics. Now my favorite, of course, y'all know, is Batman. But Superman, it came first. And so, based on the fact that the character was created by two Jewish men, based on the fact that they named Kal-El, and is entirely based off of the name, is a voice of God. And then just so many different parallels that they go back and forth. They bob and weave with different levels and elements of the word. It makes you understand why the symbol is so much more prevalent in this day and time, and even since it was conceived. And so the appreciation for it is so much further and so much greater with it, and I definitely have a better appreciation for it now than I did before, just based on the research that I found. And I want to go into it a little bit more, but I'm going to wait till my partner, Sean, has the second video with me with that specifically in mind. I think there was one other thing I wanted to touch on before I left. Let me go and research that one last time and see if I can find it. But it had to do with the fact that if you have somebody such as Superman, has all these abilities, all these powers, and you take and put him in this day and time, to me, the way that they depicted that in The Man of Steel was so amazing, because they took you out of your comfort zone to feeling like, okay, this person is really truly alien. It's not just this Boy Scout that just does everything right. This person is not, he doesn't even belong, but yet he does. It's something that we can't tell or foresee, but his destiny is so much greater, and then it makes us want to strive for more. When you listen to like the soundtrack by Hans Zimmer, it makes you want to jump out of your seat, once you want to fly. But then you think about this. Let me give you this scenario. Say, hypothetically speaking, Jesus Christ, if he was here in this day and time, what would that look like? If he performed miracles such as raising people from the dead, if he came and he actually walked on water, he actually go and started healing the sick, and actually started going performing miracles in this day and time, what would that cause you to do? What would you look and self-evaluate about yourself? What would be your belief system? And thinking about that, going back to that, even the time and frame when Jesus Christ walked among the earth and performed the miracles that he did during this time, that was a pivotal moment in history, and things were never the same. And that was why, even when I thought about what happened to Jonathan and all the different people such as Jor-El, that they realized that there was so much more at stake with the essence of this person here, that things were going to change. It was like, even when you look through the different pages of the Bible, that people go through stages where they know that there's a Savior coming, or they know that something is going to change. They know that their people's going to be free. They know that the end is going to come at a certain point, or everything's going to be washed away. Certain different stories happen, but it's like just because my ancestor knows what's going to take place, they might not see it, but they know the essence behind everything they're laying the foundation for as a greater purpose with me or with my children, And that's how it was really, truly, in essence, behind everything that happened before Christ even came. And even it showed with the Man of Steel that with one generation, which was Clark's original blood father, which then his surrogate father, and then finally with the essence of him unfolding into his destiny after the death of Zod, after the fight, after everything he put and sacrificed himself up to everybody to save. It was for a set purpose and a standing, and they show that so well with this movie. They reviewed and said this movie doesn't have substance. It doesn't have all these different kind of imageries, and I love the Richard Donner version. I loved actually certain parts of the Superman Returns. I still own that. I love Smallville. I love Lois and Clark. I love the animated series. But this movie, it draws from so many different things. If you look at this multiple different times, you'll pick out something so much more different. And for me, I analyzed things to the utmost. So the first time I looked at it, I saw the different things like the LexCorp and the Batman and of course the Wayne and the Booster Gold reference, the Cyborg reference with Star Labs, Dr. Hamilton, his essence. But there was so many different other things I saw on a spiritual level because I am a Christian and I do believe in God and I do see different things a little differently. I feel like an outsider looking in, and then for me, for this, it showed you different things. Somebody actually made a review and they said that Man of Steel was too Christian for Hollywood. That all these different biblical references, that the reviewers didn't necessarily like it, and they utilized that the Richard Donner versions were better because of whatever for some reason. But he begged to differ, that thought that because all these Christian references were here, that the world wasn't going to like it. That the world, based on the Bible, even says that the world's not going to love. We're talking about this Savior, the things to come, they're good, from the Word up here, that they're going to be different and partial to it. And so I'm not saying that is what's the case, but at the same time, I found it very weird and very different that the only thing that they could really say, and most people could really say, they didn't like about it is that it wasn't like what was before. But this is its own kind of different movie. And I'm not going to go any further other than that, but it was just really interesting that other reviewers said that, and I respect them for going that, and that actually made me want to actually make and talk about my faith and what I believe in, and go on different parallels of the Word when it comes in parallel to this movie, and even Superman in of its entirety in its inception with Jerry Siegel when he was actually younger, and it was just amazing to me. I really loved the movie. I'm going to go into further detail because, like I said, I looked at the movie tonight with one of my friends, Sean, and for now, this is SEL0320 signing out. This is the part 1. Part 2 is coming up. That'll be my final take on The Man of Steel. Look forward to